So it is a wet and rainy Sunday here in the south. I said I was going to do a video about this, the 300-hour mark when I on my mini excavator right here. I got a Kubota, it's a KX 057-4 is what it is. And I was going to do a video about likes and dislikes on it. So today happens to be a perfect day to to get that done. Since it's so messy out. But I've actually got right at 350 hours on the machine now. Overall, very good machine. I think for the money, for what you get, and the value, the quality, and just everything that goes along with it, is a very hard machine to beat as far as that goes. I got some stuff that I've got noted in my phone here. The first and foremost, like I said, just overall, just a great machine. So number 2 on my list here is it don't burn much fuel at all. It's got, I believe it's a 47 horsepower Kubota engine in it. I can run 20 something hours on a tank of fuel, I believe is what it is. It holds about 18 gallons, I think, somewhere around there, close to 20 or so. And it don't use any fuel. It cranks good when it's cold. Even if you're working the dog out of the machine, it still does very good. So very happy with that. The Kubota power plant is very hard to beat. They're used in a lot of other things, even Takeuchi stuff. Their excavators, I'm not sure if all of them do, but a lot of them do have Kubotas in them. I know the 370 that they have, it has a Kubota engine in it. It's a 10 horsepower more than what that one is right there. So then we're gonna go to the next thing that I really like about it, and this is a big deal for me, is how smooth the machine is. That's what, if I run a machine and I'm gonna be on the machine all day, every day, or I'm gonna be running it just for a few minutes at a time, I want something that's smooth, that flows well. And this machine fits that bill very well. It's very comparable to my my large John Deere loader that I run in the woods, which is it's actually a Hitachi is what it is, but it's very comparable to that. You can multi-function very well on this machine. Of course, the tracks, when you go to track on any excavator, the tracks take priority on them. And that's just the way it is, because they're not meant to track and run the stick and attachment all at the same time. That's just the way an excavator's designed there. The only stuff that I know of that we fool with, that you can track and run all the functions at the same time, is like the track cutter. But of course that machine has 6 pumps on it, and it's 330 horsepower, I think, something like that. So it's meant to do that. These machines right here are meant to track and then get where you're going, and then start digging or start working, and not, you know, tracking and working the boom all at the same time. There's a service part of it. It's very easy to service this machine. Simple. Right there's your fuel filter right there, and then you got another filter inside that little canister right there. You just screw it off. Very easy to get to. You got enough room here to get to everything, and then screw it and get it undone. The hydraulic filter is under this cover right there. You just take these 2 lines off, and then I got a case drain right there. Take it off, and you can service it very easy. I thought that thing moved, but it wouldn't. No, it's tight. Okay. Simple to do that. And then back here, there's your engine oil filter, a white one right there. And then where you check the oil and pour the oil in right there, side by side. Very easy to do. To drain it, you don't have to. You can drop that plate down there. It's got the holes in it. You know, it's simple to drop it down. I usually drop it and then drain the oil out of it, but you don't have to do that to do it. The air filter, of course, is right here. So everything's very easy as far as that goes. Now, one thing about machines is oftentimes you get them new, you're gonna have a line or two come loose on them. That was not the case on this one. I have not had the first leak nowhere on this machine at all. And you can see where they put paint on every one of the connectors. That's when they're in the factory putting it together. That lets them know when they dot that paint on there that they have tightened that fitting all the way down. And I think with the machine being as smooth as it is, it doesn't have any feedback vibrations through it or nothing like that, and that helps on, you know, keeping everything tight on it. But I hadn't even touched a bolt on this thing as far as you know, tightening anything up that's came loose on it. But just very, very accessible on it. Even if you did have to do something, you can get to everything. Everything's pretty self-explanatory on it, where you can find it. One thing that I like about it, it's got a button over there by the fuel cap. When you're fueling it, you can hit this button right there, that black button. And what it does is it starts an alarm going on the display up there. And it lets you know when you're getting it full. So if say you're running a rotary pump, a hand pump or something like that, and you're up there in the back of your truck and you're pumping, you don't have to wonder where you're at or have to get up and down. You can listen by the tone of what it's putting on the monitor up there as to how close it is to being full, so you don't run fuel everywhere and get it all over you. However, I have not mashed that button before, and I have gotten soaked one time by this thing. Grease, it's got a lot of grease fittings on it. I mean, they're all over it. I mean, there's two right there, one there, and then one at the other side, and then two there, and then one right there, and then they're everywhere. There are three there, one here. You got them all over everything, all over down the stick. It's pretty easy. This machine here, I can't stand a machine that you have to grease kind of in a circuit or something. When I say that, you have to grease, you have to set the machine a certain way and grease it, and then you end up having to get back up on the machine, you know, and then move it to finish greasing it. This one's not like that. You can set it one way, and you can walk through the entire machine and grease the whole thing. So I like that, because once I get started greasing, I like to roll with it. The only thing about greasing on it's these recessed fittings right here, like this one, is cleaning them out where you can get to them, because the dirt will pack into them on top of them, and just cleaning them out, make sure that they're good and clean there. Get them out. I think that's it on that right there on the likes. So like I said, overall I like. All right, so here's some of the dislikes on the machine. One thing right out of the box that I really didn't like about it, and it's not just this Kubota. I got a lot of friends that have the Kubotas, and theirs do the same thing, was a thumb drifting down on it. That's very frustrating, especially if you're running, say, an attachment like this and you only got one circuit on it, like I do on this one right here, where I've only got one set of auxiliaries coming down. And when I had the thumb on it and I was running, say I was using a tilt grade bucket, digging or doing some grade work, or even the jawbone bucket here, or the grapple, as you're running about every 30 minutes, you're gonna have to suck that thumb back up. What'll happen is that thumb will start drifting down on you as you're running. You can't see it doing it, but like you could park this machine just like this right here and let it set for a day or so, and the thumb would end up relaxing all the way down on it. That's no big deal unless you're running auxiliaries all the time like I do right here. So what I would have to do is if I was running it and I had, say, the grapple on it like I've got on it right now, I would actually have to get off the machine, flip the diverter valve over here and over here, and then suck the thumb back up, and then jump back down and flip the diverter valves back the other way to get my flow going back right here. I didn't like that at all. And I'm sure it probably wasn't on the machine, where it was coming back to it at, I would imagine it's probably on the cylinder, because the cylinder and the thumb and stuff don't come from Kubota. Kubota don't build them. And so I was more than happy to take that off and get it off the machine. And since I've had it off, I have not missed having it on there at all. So that was one dislike that that I wasn't crazy about. Part that goes with the thumb is going to be your auxiliary controls. And I know why they did it, but they shouldn't have done it like this, in my opinion. I know they did it from a safety standpoint, but it's very, very frustrating. Every time you pull this up, this is ready to rock and roll right here. This is in work position. And then when you get on and off the machine, when you pull this up right here, it kills your pilots. So that when you push this back down, then even though your pilots are back working, your auxiliary is not. So every time you pull that lever up, you have to rearm your auxiliary right there. You have to hit that button every time to hit it and make your auxiliary back work. So if I jump off this machine for just a second and grab my saw or something, hop back up here, when I put this down, I have to hit the auxiliary right there to make it go back to work. Oh, one thing that I like about it too, I need to add in the likes, is you've got, I think it's about 6 presets in the computer right there. So you can have about 6 different attachments, and you can have different flow set in the computer to each one. And so all you do when you put the attachment on the machine, you just scroll through till you get to your which one matches, and you set it to it. And you can also change, you can have one side of it running wide open, and you can have the other side lowered way down. I really like that about the Kubota right here, where you can adjust that easy in the computer between several attachments right there. So one more dislike that I don't like about the machine is the fact that, and I know they did this because of money and it makes the value more appealing, but I wish the machine had a pin grabber on it, rather than having to take that pin out every time, take it out and then undo it and then jump down there. It's not as bad on my stuff because most everything I got hydraulics on it, and so I have to unhook lines and everything anyhow for the grapple or the tilt grade bucket or the jawbone bucket here, and then I've got a hydraulic auger over there also too. So I got to get off of it anyhow, but I would really like to have a pin grab on it, or an option to be able to get a pin grab on it. Now the next machine, whenever I do go to another machine, whatever I do in the future, I will have a pin grab system on it. That's just the way it's going to be. And what I'll do is I'm going to take all of my stuff here. I'm going to stay, if I ever swap machines or anything, if I was going to swap machines, the one I would go after right now would be the Takeuchi, the 370, which is about roughly a 15,000 pound machine. A little bit bigger than this one. I don't like the 80 because it's a good bit bigger than this one, and for working in yards and stuff, just not real good. And then I got to deal with some of the other issues that I really don't like on this machine. Some of the few dislikes that would speed, they're not bad, but I mean it would speed me up on what I do. But I definitely will have a pin grab, but all this stuff right here will go on that size machine too. And so what I'll do is I would just take every bit of this stuff to the machine shop at one time and have them alter all of it to where it would work with a pin grab. Sure, it cost me a little bit of money, but I don't care about that. I just want the ease of it working. But of course I took you can see the extra lights on it. It didn't come with the lights, of course. That was a money thing too. You know, they put this machine out and they're trying to make it as affordable as they can for somebody. And you know, had I known what I could do with this machine as far as the amount of time that I was going to be running and what the money that I generated with this thing and do generate with it, I would have done something very different when I made this move. But I wasn't sure how it was going to work, and so I bit the bullet, got this one right here. But of course it did help me get my feet wet per se with the Mini, and I've learned a lot of stuff, and I still got a lot to learn, and just some of the different things that I've done with it, and the stuff the jobs that I picked up and things like that. But I would have bought something a lot different than this machine right here starting out of the gate, because the money that it generates will more than cover the cost of, you know, something else, a lot different machine than this right here. And of course the next one I get, I will have a cab on it and everything. This one right here is a little tough. June, July, August, when it's so hot and dusty, if it's real dry and all, yeah, you'll eat a lot of dust on it and things like that. But you know, there again, I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, and I didn't want to jump out there and pull the trigger on something that costs a lot, because I knew getting this one and paying for it was not going to be a problem. But I didn't want to string myself out too much, you know, and because it's real easy to do something like that and get in a bind. Now I have not run this machine. I did some jobs in October, and then the whole month of November I hadn't done anything with it except around here. And that's the beauty of it, because I don't have to run it. So that's a cool thing. So because I had the 2 saw classes, and then I went to Kingston 3 times, Georgia over there 3 different times, and then of course I did the climbing competition in the Northport Power Equipment, their fall open house over there. I did that for them. So I was tied up pretty bad in the month of in the end of October rolling into November there. So, and then hunting season, I love to hunt. I love to deer hunt, and I just kind of, you know, park it right now. And if I want to pick something up and do something, you know, a job or something like that, I got it, I just throw it on the trailer and take off. So any questions, you can ask them down below, or anything like that, or tell your thoughts about, you know, likes and dislikes, you know, about the machines, or whether it's a Caterpillar, a Kubota, a John Deere, you know, a Takeuchi, any of those like that right there. So appreciate y'all watching, and hope y'all have a good Sunday today. See y'all.